All right, everybody. It's officially 2024 now. It was last.
Happy New Year.
It was for our last episode too, when we went through our top 23. But we didn't talk about 24. Now it's really 2024. I'm excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be
Haven't seen you
excited
guys in a year.
A whole year? The joke would be, I haven't seen you since last year.
That's true.
Hot.
That's what they say. That's what they say at work,
Well,
right?
this year.
When you go home on December
Just whatever,
23rd.
Yeah. That's
See you next year.
that's prime white guy joke.
Frank.
yeah. Yeah.
Boo.
Living the dream, all that stuff.
I know. But it could still be an interesting year. There's a lot of big movies on the horizon, and we're going to talk about some of our most anticipated ones here down the line. But it's going to be a pretty active year in general, hopefully, in the movie industry after spending most of last year shut down due to a strike between the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild. But that's all in the past now. They got their deals renewed for multiple years, so no strikes anticipated this year. However, it's hard to say how it might affect this year. We have some 23 movies that got pushed over into 24 that we're going to talk about. Some people's most anticipated movies of 23 are now coming out this year. So that should be interesting. What do you guys think? How are you feeling about the year overall? You excited? Or does anyone even care anymore?
Nervous. So, I mean, I care. I care. But I am super nervous. You know, the year after a strike is always weird. You go back to 2007 and that TV time period and those films, there was like a weirdness to them. So, you know, a lot of movies got pushed out of 2024 as well. You know, and a lot of shows got delayed out of 2024. So there's going to be times where it's going to feel like a real dry spell this year. And so, you know, I'm not like overly excited about anything like we'll talk about later. I mean, I'm interested in a lot of these movies, but I haven't seen anything that makes me go, God, that's a must watch.
Don't make people tune out already, David. What are you talking about? There's a lot to be excited about.
Well, I'm one man. I'm one person. You know, you guys are your own people. You can speak for yourself on that. But like I said, I've got some movies I'm interested in, but I'm really waiting to be wowed.
What do you think about the year, David? Or Garrett, are you excited about 2024?
I think that there's potential. I think it's got a lot of potential because we're so used to the last year. I mean, it was just superhero. We're just waiting for the next superhero movie. That's what the movie theaters were waiting for. And we don't have that this year. This year's, it feels different. And I like it. I don't exactly know what to think. I think there's going to be, I think there's a lot of chance this is like a changing year for the movie theater where maybe they go quality over quantity. And I'm actually a big fan of hoping for that.
What if we get neither?
Well, then it would be an upsetting. I think that would be really devastating for the movie genre in general, because something's got to have to step up for the movie theater, or for the lack of superhero movies driving this. I mean, Aquaman flopped. Marvel's flopped. There's not much coming out. I mean, Deadpool, but that's pretty much the one that people are kind of looking forward to. Yeah. But this is an opportunity for something else to step up.
Yeah.
And so whether it's going back to indie movies or quality movies that are Oscar that have some story to tell, I don't know what it is, but there's potential for something to happen.
Yeah, I think that I think you're right.
Floor is open.
Yeah. There's not any, to me, obvious runaway hits in that kind of typical superhero subgenre we've been talking about that has been so prominent over the past decade in particular. You got your Deadpool 3 you mentioned, that has the potential to make a ton of money. Potential. But then there's also the other movie that I think could make money, but I don't necessarily want it to. Or do I think that this show necessarily is hyped for it? But The Joker Part 2 comes out next year as well, and that is the sequel to a $1 billion movie, which for the Marvels didn't work out. For Joker, will it work out? I don't know. We'll find out. So I do think there's opportunity for other franchises, other IP, to step up and become one of the highest grossing movies of the year, or something we're not prepared for, something totally unexpected could take off. It could be fun. So I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about this year, obviously.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you had an idea. Anyway, yeah, we got a lot to talk about this year. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into our most anticipated. Before we do that, though, let me go ahead and remind you guys to subscribe to the show on YouTube or in your favorite podcasting app, whichever you're not on. You should subscribe on that one. You can just search So Many Sequels there on YouTube, and you can go to somanysequels.com and find links to our YouTube channel, as well as all of our social pages and links to our past episodes. Actually, I almost forgot. Before we talk about, you have your finger up.
I was going to say, I want to add, we're at 108 subsibers. That's
okay,
great.
For YouTube.
We want to get that number up. You know, I think our goal for the end of the year is I don't know what to say, 150. We're going to want 150 by the end of the year. Let's do it.
That sounds fair to me. Okay, before, though, we do talk about our anticipated, let's have some fun and just like, I don't know, be imaginative and talk about some possible 2024 predictions. Garrett, you brought up this idea. You wanted to talk about some predictions. Do you have any you wanted to start with? As you look into your crystal ball?
Yes. What I see, again, as I said a few seconds ago, I think there's a chance for something. And I really want it to be quality over quantity. I want movies that last in movie theaters. And I think in order for movie theaters to make money, they're going to need movies that are big, that are rewatchable on big screens, and that you don't just push out to subscribers. And that's going to be this tricky part, because I see so many movies that look like they're going to be epics, right? We've got Furiosa. We've got Dawn of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, or however many. You got this ballerina movie that's coming out. You got these movies that have potential to be big epics. You got Dune Part 2, unless that got delayed, which it probably did again because that movie's just got bad luck all over it. But all of these movies look like they could be ones that people go to theaters to see again because it's big. And I think those are the movies that need to step up. And I think it gives way for some of the smaller little indie movies to get in there too, because they're creative and they're different. And I think that, for me, is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for some epics that have long box office runs that keep people going to the theaters, whether it's back to see it or they see a preview for something in this over and over and it's like, oh, that looks like it's good, and maybe I'll go check this out even though I normally wouldn't. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I like that idea. I think there's some possibility in there. One of my predictions, I feel like this is, I don't know, a risky prediction. But I think Dune Part 2, which is not delayed a second time, it comes out March 1st. I think Dune Part 2 could be the highest grossing movie of the year. That's going to be my that's going to be my 2024 prediction. I say that because Dune the First was a significant hit when it came out in 2021. Now, it made $400 million worldwide during the pandemic and at a time when it was released simultaneously on HBO Max. Now, in that time, who have become even bigger stars? Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, who gets even more screen time in this movie. And they added Florence Pugh to the cast. I think it's going to be big. Mm-hmm. And I'm basing that mostly on Wonka's surprise box office run. David, you got a prediction?
Yeah, I have a prediction. It's also tied to box office. I think it's going to be a down year. I don't think it's going to be a, overall. So last year, domestically, in-year releases was an 8.5, up 13% from last year, which was up 50% from the year before that, which was up over almost 300% from the year before that. So, the box office is healing. We're getting back to where we were. But just based on the fact that I think that there's going to be a lot of releases that got pushed out of 2024 that people were excited about, I think that there's not a clear movie that's, I don't think that Dune might be the movie that dominates the first quarter, but I don't know if there's, outside of something like a Mean Girls really taking off, I'm not sure there's anything that's going to dominate January and February before.
Mean Girls has potential.
Mean Girls does have potential to kind of capture that zone. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think not a huge drop, but I think we're looking at maybe between 5 and 10% drop for the overall box office in 2024. That's my guess. In terms of critics, though, I think that it's going to be, I think there's a chance for a lot of critically acclaimed films to come out this year. I think Netflix is going to have a big year. We're seeing the big studios who created their own streaming services discovering that the grass was not as green as it appeared, that when Netflix was the only major streamer, they made it look incredible. But when everybody has a streaming service, things don't look that great. I think you're going to see Netflix is going to do much better this year as it picks up a lot of things. Unfortunately, I think you're going to see more big chains like Best Buy get rid of physical media that you can buy in store. They've already started doing that, getting rid of DVDs and Blu-rays that they sell in store and online. I think you're going to see that continue, unfortunately. And I think you're going to see a boom in people trying to collect physical media again, because we as consumers don't trust that we're going to get to see these digital movies, that they might just be yanked off the streaming service, or that our digital copy might be taken right off of whatever platform we own it on. So I think you're going to see a boom in physical media purchases, but it's going to be harder to find places to go get them. You know, you're going to have to do it all online still. So there's some of my pessimistic 2024 predictions.
Okay, awesome. Well, I can't wait to come back at the end of the year and see if any of them come true, or if we were so wildly off. I don't know. All right.
I need to add that to my wrap for next year.
Yeah, you can add it to your wrap for next year. How many predictions did we get wrong? Probably all of them. Although, I don't know. I think we could do all right. All right. Let's talk about...
I think we made educated guesses.
We made educated guesses. They're always educated. Let's get into our most anticipated movies of 2024, though. This is historically a bit of a cursed episode sometimes. At least the past few years, it's been cursed, I think.
I think the first year we did it, everything went wrong.
Right? So, if you didn't listen to our top of 2023... what we're doing this year is a little different. So typically we would each come up with our own list and kind of go through all that. But this year we decided to combine our lists, consolidate them into an ultimate so many sequels most anticipated of 2024. Then we'll talk about some of our honorable mentions or later down the road. But let's go ahead and get into number 5. We're going to do our top 5 most anticipated. And you know, this list is mostly decided by how many of the three of us were interested. So just because something's number one doesn't mean like, oh, we're the most excited. It just means all three of us were excited, and that is meaningful to the show, I think. So to get things started, we're going to go with number 5, which is a new movie from A24. It's Alex Garland's Civil War. Letterboxd describes this movie as... in the near future, a group of war journalists attempt to survive while reporting the truth as the United States stands on the brink of civil war. Cast members in this movie include Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, Nick Offerman. If you guys haven't seen the trailer yet, it just dropped pretty recently. It's pretty intense, so I'm excited. And this was on your list too, Garrett. What do you think? Why are you excited about it?
Just because I saw the trailer. You know, I based my list on, like, you know, if I don't know anything about it, then I can't necessarily be looking forward to it unless it's got some cool people attached to it, which we'll talk about later. But this one looked really interesting and scary and a little too real. So I'm very intrigued with that based on the trailer.
What better time than to watch a modern-day U.S. Civil War movie than on the brink of a presidential election year? How exciting for all of us to be alive at this time. David, do you know anything about this? It didn't make your list, so I'm just curious if you even know about it yet, or if it's hit your radar.
Yeah, I know about it. I watched the trailer the day it came out. Alex Garland is a pretty well-respected, sort of fresh director right now. He's behind Ex Machina, Annihilation. I think a year or two ago he did Men. He does a lot of movies that have a very socially conscious theming. You know, he's very aware of what's going on right now. So Civil War, I've seen a lot. There was a joke. Me and my coworker were watching it, and we were kind of laughing to ourselves a little bit at the idea of Texas and California sort of being somewhat united. But I imagine that the politics of the Civil War world are not necessarily going to be shared by the real world. They might craft it a different way.
I'm anxious to see what causes it.
But it is interesting because America's never had, it has been over 100 years since there has been a battle on American soil. So the idea of looking at the United States today through the framework of a civil war in modern times is very interesting. I can already tell you however much screen time Jesse Plemons is going to get
It's
is
not enough.
It's not enough. Jesse Plemons has skyrocketed over the last 2 or 3 years as one of my more favorite actors.
He's great, and it's nice to see him reunite with Fargo co-star Kirsten Dunst in this.
Yes, Kirsten Dunst, who honestly, she works more than people think, but I think people should check out Kirsten Dunst. She's great in all of her stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Nick Offerman's the president. What could go wrong there? And I love, they have a great poster, and I've said that the poster is the Statue of Liberty, but there's like turret setup. It's like there's sandbags. I think they could do a great poster campaign of just sort of American iconography with, in a battle situation, with, people staking out the reflecting pool, or
right.
The St. Louis Arch or whatever. Just there's a theme there that they could do that could go really viral in that way.
Sounds very dark. Can't wait to see what Civil War is like. Let me check checking the release date real quick because I missed it the first time. April 26th, so that's going to come up sooner than we expect. Civil War. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is number 5 on our most anticipated list. Number 4 is our first sequel on the list. Well, it's technically a prequel, but it's Furiosa, a Mad Max story, which this was another one that Garrett and I are bringing to the list. I'm really excited for it because I loved Mad Max Fury Road. That movie was... So I guess I'm a weird fan. I don't really care about the original Mad Max movies too much. I honestly don't. I don't think I've seen all of them, and I don't have a lot of memory about them. And Mel Gibson, I don't care anymore, and all that. So this is my Mad Max. So I'm super excited to see what George Miller does with it. The first one was so crazy. Charlize Theron was amazing in it, so I'm excited to see Anya Taylor-Joy takes on a younger version of that character. And if it's half as cool as Fury Road was, I'm hyped for it. What are you looking forward to, Garrett?
Same thing. I saw the trailer earlier today as I was doing some research because it was the first time I'd had a chance to watch some trailers in a while. And so it looks cool. Stylistically, it looks like it's going to be insane. And again, I think this is what I meant by those epics, where this movie is going to bring in so many people so many times to see this on the biggest screen that they can over and over and over. And I hope it does because I'm really excited about it.
The first trailer did look bonkers, where you have a Chris Hemsworth almost unrecognizable in a lot of ways. And never saw Mad Max Fury Road. I'm going to get tomatoes thrown at me for that, but I'm sorry. Just never got around to it in 2015. Didn't have a So Many Sequels podcast
you should
back
now.
then.
You should give it a shot.
I think I probably will, and I would be interested to go back and see some of the original ones just out of curiosity, because again, they are sort of a blind spot of mine, that particular franchise. But I'm interested. I mean, I would like it if it were Charlize Theron more, since she was Furiosa in the Mad Max in the
you
Fury
don't know
Road
that.
movie, right?
You didn't watch it. You don't know what you'd like.
Well,
more.
I like Charlize Theron at all times, so I can tell you that. Much like Jesse Plemons, she doesn't get enough screen time.
Does that mean you don't like Anya Taylor-Joy at all times?
I
Hello,
like
that's
Anya.
not.
Honestly, I don't even know. She was Princess Peach. That I can tell you. She's kind of an it girl right now. Anywho,
your opinion on Furiosa is moot at this point. Moving on to number 3.
I like Charlize Theron.
I like Anya Taylor-Joy. Okay, yes, but moving on to number 3, because it sounds like we're going to argue about Furiosa down the road. Number 3. This is a pick that came from David and Garrett. Deadpool 3, which Letterboxd only says the third entry in the Deadpool franchise. Plot TBA. Truly, all we know about this movie is that it has Hugh Jackman back as a version of Wolverine. Anything else anyone says about this movie is pure speculation. But you guys brought it to the table as one of your most anticipated, so tell us about why.
Well, for me, it's Deadpool.
Mainly for that reason.
Yeah. It's Deadpool.
Yeah, it's for that reason.
Sorry, go ahead, Garrett. You go, Garrett.
This movie is the only superhero movie that can make money right now. I truly believe that. If they let this be what it can be and just let Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman go on screen and have fun and do crazy shit, this will make Marvel what the money they need to continue, right? People are going to go see it. They want to see this buddy comedy thing. They're looking forward to it. So it's going to make a ton of money. I went on to try to watch a trailer, and I got to tell you what. If you're out there making all of these fake trailers for these movies just to get clicks, get out of here. I'm tired of you. YouTube was full of like screen rant and like, here's our fan trailer, or like our concept of what it could be.
I
It's like,
hate
screw
that
you.
crap.
Screw you. You have 50 of them. Get out of here.
It's so bad. Where it's really bad, just to continue this tangent for a quick second, is on Facebook, man. If you're one of the poor souls, I say that like there's not 8 billion people on Facebook still, but the amount of fake movie posters with tens of thousands of shares and people who are like, yeah, I'm so excited for this, and it is so clearly not real, boggles my mind and makes me hopeless for humanity. But
and some of them are just blatant AI, you know.
Blatant
there was
AI.
one for Pixar's A Land Before Time, and people going, don't ruin the original, don't do this, and it's like, it's not happening. It's not happening.
You guys, if you're listening,
we take for granted how in tune we are to the movie world.
Heed my warnings. Media literacy matters. You need to know. You need to be able to tell when what you're looking at is not real. That's all I gotta say.
As for me, I'll echo a lot of what you said, Garrett. Hugh Jackman's always a great. I'm still a person who enjoys Ryan Reynolds, and I think Deadpool 1 and 2 are both fun. The first one is more fun. But the second one has its moments. You know, I was disappointed because Deadpool 2 had the opportunity to just go full Mel Brooks and didn't quite do that. But I'm looking forward to this. Disney and Marvel Studios have gotten the X-Men rights from Fox. This is going to be their first real X-Men related thing that they're bringing over. So the MCU is unfortunately, as a whole, an aging franchise, mostly propped up by millennials who are still into it. But it'll be interesting if they can change over the next few years to grow their audience downward. And they need a win after the Marvels, which my personal opinion didn't deserve to do as poorly as it did, but they need a big win next year. And maybe the fact that this is the only Marvel Studios movie coming out next year, there'll be other superhero movies, sure, but this is the only Marvel Studios movie coming out. This needs to do well for them. I'm looking forward to it though. So
right, I think what's interesting, because I didn't add Deadpool 3 to my list. That's not to say I'm not looking forward to it. I definitely am. But what I'll add to this is my speculation and idea of what could happen here. And it is on that idea of Disney and Marvel need a win for the MCU right now. But what's so important and why they're going to get criticized no matter what, I think, and so go ahead and prepare for this now, David, is if this movie does well, people will say it's because it's a Fox property that they built on. And if it does poorly, they will say it's because Marvel ruined Deadpool. That's what will happen no matter what happens.
Yes. Either Marvel ruined Deadpool, or Deadpool is already
Deadpool was already good, so like Disney didn't do anything. They just didn't mess it up. That's what they'll say.
Even though, let's face it, the Fox franchise for X-Men had its ebbs and flows. Like it would be like, oh wow, this is a great franchise, nosedive. Yeah. Oh wow, it's a great franchise again, nosedive. Like every time.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what it's going to be all about. Super interested, obviously, in seeing how they bring back Hugh Jackman. So I think it'll be fun. Deadpool 3 comes out later this summer. I would not be shocked if we review it. We'll find out later on down the road. But now we're in our top 2 most anticipated movies of the year. This next one comes out awfully soon, and it is not quite a remake. It's more of an adaptation. So this is the musical adaptation of Mean Girls. Garrett and David, you guys brought this to the table this year. So Mean Girls is a movie that originally came out in 2004 from Tina Fey. Huge hit at the time. Huge cultural moment. A lot of things still quoted from that movie today. So it's huge.
Big legacy.
It went on to become a Broadway musical. And now, 20 years after the movie, the musical is being adapted into a film starring Renee Rapp. Tina Fey is coming back. Tim Meadows is coming back. Jenna Fishers is in the movie. Busy Phillips, Ashley Park, John Hamm. Huge cast, mixture of some returning favorites, mixture of some new Gen Z talent, younger talent. So what do you guys think? What makes you guys excited about the Mean Girls musical?
Garrett?
I didn't see Mean Girls the original until it was 2023. And so I really liked it. And I think with everything they put into this, I think that people who love the original are going to go see it. I think that if, honestly, movie theaters just let people sing along, give a little sing along, and people will start doing that. Let them come back and party like they did at the Taylor Swift thing. That's a way to get people back into the theaters for this, if it's a musical version of it. And I think it's just going to be a ton of fun. Saw a trailer for it, going to see Poor Things, and it looked fantastic.
I gotta agree. It looks really fun. I was skeptical at first, but when I saw that Tina Fey came back, and so much of the original cast in the school came back, I feel like I'm pretty hyped for it. I think it'll be good. Like I said, didn't make my list, but I'm excited. David, why'd you add it?
Circa 2004, 2005, I was coerced into seeing this movie, the Mean Girls, the first one. And I thought it was actually really funny, and I really enjoyed it. And I had the biggest, I've had a crush on Lacey Chabert since I was 9 years old. And that movie only amplified that at the time. So I've always liked Mean Girls. I've always been one of my, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or not. A lot of people like Mean Girls. But the musical, I don't know much about. Never seen the musical. Haven't even listened to any of the songs. But I'm sort of anxiously, optimistic about it, because a lot of their branding is not your mom's Mean Girls, and I was like, oh man, that's me. I'm the mom. Is this going to be really different than the first one? I don't know. Excuse me. You both want that and don't want that sometimes.
Yeah, one thing I'm...
But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. My wife and I are probably going to see it here pretty soon.
Yeah, one fun thing is that Renee Rapp, who plays Regina George, she's kind of an actress and singer now, but she is one of the Broadway cast members who played Regina George as well. So she's kind of a Broadway turned movie star actor. So it's excited. It's also always exciting to see a Broadway cast member go to the stage as well. She wasn't the original one, but she came in along the way. Okay.
Yeah. Renee Rapp's becoming very popular on TikTok right now.
Yes. So let's get into our top pick of the year, our most anticipated movie, simply because all three of us picked it. It's the only movie that made all three of our lists. And that, it kind of surprised me. But then, as I thought about it and looked at it more, I'm not too surprised that this made all three of our lists. Our most anticipated movie is going to be Mickey 17, which is the latest from Academy Award-winning director Bong Joon-ho. Mickey 17 is an expendable, a disposable employee on a human expedition sent to colonize the ice world Niflheim. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of its memories intact. And this stars Robert Pattinson, seemingly, as Mickey 17, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, Steven Yeun. That's all I know about it. But that's all I need to know that I'm excited. Look, we've already had the Robert Pattinson discussion. The man's a fantastic actor. I'm at the point where I will watch a movie he makes. And we're at that same point with Bong Joon-ho. Is this his follow-up to Parasite? I don't think he made anything after yet. Yeah. So this is his follow-up to the Best Picture-winning Parasite. His other movies before then are also great. We went on a Bong Joon-ho journey after Parasite 1, I think, individually. At least some of us did. So I'm super excited, and I love Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, Steven Yeun. I'm can't wait to see what kind of weirdness they cook up with this movie. So that's why I picked it. Why did you guys?
No notes from me. Ditto from Garrett.
Yeah, mostly the same. The cast sounds great. The director is best director, and Parasite was a best picture. This is the follow up to that. It does. Actually, it is a very cool premise, very neat sci-fi premise. So, so I'm looking forward to that respect. I didn't expect it, like you said, Josh, for it to be our most anticipated, just by the fact of all of us are interested. But I think it's one of those movies where you're looking at what's coming out this year, and you go, "What is Mickey 17?" And you look at it and go, "Oh man, this is like no one's talking about this yet. But look at all these people in it. Look who's making it. This has real potential to stand out. Now, we said the same thing about 65. We will find out what happened.
We did say the same thing about 65. So I have higher hopes for Mickey 17, I will have to say. At least in the hands of Bong Joon-ho, I have much higher hopes. But y'all, that is our top 5 most anticipated of the year. Again, recap. Number 5, Civil War. Number 4, Furiosa, a Mad Max story. Number 3 is Deadpool 3. Number 2 is Mean Girls, the musical. And number 1 is Mickey 17. We also...
Which comes out in March.
Which, yes, comes out in March. So a lot of these are coming out in the early half of the year, which is good for us, fresh on our minds. We each, of course, also had some honorable mentions in our picks that didn't make the final list. I'll go through some of mine real quickly. Dune Part 2, I'm really excited for. I liked the first one more than I expected that I would. So I read the book afterward, and it's like 1,000 million pages. So I thought it was really cool. Also, Ballerina, which is the John Wick spin-off starring Ana de Armas. I'm looking forward to that. I thought her character in John Wick 3, was that the one they added her into? Or was it 4? I think it was 3. Anyway.
4, but I don't think actually Ana made an appearance, though.
Oh. Well, either way, I'm excited for it. And then a few more. Trap, which I know nothing about except for it stars Josh Hartnett, and it's the next M. Night Shyamalan movie. So sign me up, I guess. Nosferatu is Robert Eggers' take on the classic Nosferatu. That comes out Christmas Day. And then finally, the only sequel on my... the only proper sequel on my list is Beetlejuice 2. I'm excited for it. I don't think I need to say why. You guys?
Quite a few geriatric sequels coming.
Some geriatric sequels, yes. What honorable mentions made your lists?
Yeah, but what about you, Garrett?
I have got a couple that I'm, again, I use the word intrigued. I don't know if I'm excited about them, but I'm intrigued by them. I think Twisters, obviously, is going to be an interesting one for us located here in Oklahoma. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a sequel. I think it's going to be just kind of another Twister movie, and I think that's a smart way to do it. I don't think that you need to tie it in with the original. And then I've also got Fall Guy, which has got Ryan Reynolds in it, and Ryan Gosling, and he is full crazy in this, and it looks really interesting.
Emily Blunt too.
If I think it looks good. Spaceman, something I don't know about, but it's got Adam Sandler and it's Netflix. And then for me, I got to pick The Crow. They've been talking about doing this for a long time. They got a Skarsgård attached to it. I'm someone who loves the original. Don't necessarily want this, but I don't know. Skarsgård's pretty good. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, it could. What's the worst that could happen? You still have the first Crow. So you guys, we've said all my other ones. I'm just going to throw out a couple animated films. Inside Out 2 is coming out supposed to come out this year. So interested in that. They're going to add some new emotions. Should be probably more heartbreaking than it needs to be. And then you also have, I'm excited about this. I may be all alone, but Kung Fu Panda 4. I love those daggone Kung Fu Panda movies. And this fourth one, aside from adding Awkwafina to the cast, has me excited about just about everything. So there you go.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm excited for the year. We talked about how there's some uncertainty, and some of these movies may not pan out, but I'm still trying to be excited. I think some of I think some of them will, at least. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of movies coming this year. We got a lot of fun themes coming up, a lot of episodes around those themes. So go ahead and tell you, we're going to announce our first theme right now, our first theme of the year, which I think next week you're going to hear a breakdown of what we're going to talk about. But we're going to spend February, obviously, talking about so many sweethearts. We had a rom-com month last year, and we decided we loved it enough
2 years ago
that we had to return to the sweetheart month of February. And have so many sweethearts. So next week we will talk to you guys about our picks, and then we will talk about those all month long for February. So get on our social media accounts: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. Tell us what your favorite romantic comedies are, your favorite romances. It doesn't have to be a rom-com. It could be any kind of Valentine-y sweetheart movie. Let us know what your favorites are. Maybe they will make the list. Either way, we'll talk about them all month long as we celebrate love and rom and com and all that good stuff. So
Rom-communism.
Rom-communism, as Ted Lasso loves to say. So go check us out at somanysequels.com. You can find the links to all of our social media accounts that I listed earlier there, as well as links to all of our past episodes. Be sure you subscribe wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Just search So Many Sequels in that app. We'll see you guys next time with our preview of So Many Sweethearts. Bye.